Welcome back to DRS Zone. We're here to cut through the noise after the U.S. Grand Prix. Austin. Wow, it really felt like a moment where things properly shifted in the championship, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't just another race weekend. You could feel the ground moving under the title fight.
Yeah, so our mission today, dive deep. We're going into why Austin feels like the tipping point. We've sifted through the performance data, the team chatter, even, the driver reactions. And look, we need to just put it out there right away. The consensus from everything we've looked at is pretty stark. Max Verstappen. After Austin, our analysis points towards him being the predicted 2025 world champion. It feels almost inevitable now.
It does feel that way. And look, that confidence isn't just because he won the race. It's much bigger than that. It's this combination of factors coming together. His performance, yes, but also a huge psychological shift, maybe even a breakdown happening elsewhere.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. Max is the inevitable champ. Why the certainty now? What changed so drastically?
Well, first, you just look at the Austin weekend itself. For Max, it was mathematically perfect. Sprint win, race win, both poles. I mean, that's the maximum points haul you can get.
Yeah.
A grand slalom performance, even if technically not every single lap was led by him.
Right, a dominant display.
But it's not just Austin. You got to see the pattern, the trend. This level of performance, it tracks right back to that floor modification Red Bull brought in Italy, back at Monza.
Ah, the Monza update.
Exactly. Since that piece went on the car, aimed at sorting porpoising and boosting efficiency, Max has just consistently, race after race, qualifying and race day, been quicker than the McLarens. That's kind of the new reality we're seeing.
Okay, performance baseline shifted. But you mentioned psychology. How much weight does that carry? Max looks, I don't know, unbreakable right now.
It's massive. He is, as our analysis puts it, more than shielded against pressure. Think back to 2021, right? He's been through these incredibly tight, difficult title fights. He knows how to handle this kind of heat.
He seems completely dialed in.
You see it, don't you? That hunter mode. It's in his eyes, his whole demeanor. He believes he can do it, the numbers back him up, and that belief, that confidence, it almost becomes another weapon against his rivals.
And the contrast with McLaren is stark then.
Oh, definitely. Lando, Oscar, they're brilliant drivers, no question. But this specific pressure, fighting for a championship, right at the very end of the season, they just don't have that recent hard-won experience.
Yeah.
And that's a huge disadvantage right now.
Right. Okay, so if Max is the hunter, the analysis paints McLaren as the propitiatory prey. That's a strong term. What's driving that, this potential mental collapse?
Well, they're caught in a double bind, aren't they? Externally, you've got Max just relentlessly closing in, mistake-free, pretty much.
Yeah.
But then internally, there's this simmering conflict.
The teammates.
Yeah, Piastri versus Norris, they both still have a mathematical shot, technically.
Yeah.
So they have to watch each other. They can't fully cooperate because only one of them can actually win the title.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It really is. There's this cycling analogy that came up in the sources, and it fits perfectly. You have two riders out front, almost there, but the chaser, Max, is gaining. Instead of working together, they start glancing at each other, worry the other will attack or make a mistake. They hesitate. They slow down.
And the chaser catches them both.
Precisely. Max feeds off that internal doubt, that hesitation.
And those papaya rules we heard so much about, the guidelines to manage them, clearly not working now.
Breaking down completely. Conflict was almost inevitable. And we saw it flare up in Austin with that contact in the sprint.
Yeah.
A teammate collision, a DNF from contact even in a sprint. Psychologically, that's damaging.
They were lucky it wasn't the main race.
Incredibly lucky. Imagine the points loss, the constructors' fight damage. If that had happened on Sunday, it would have been catastrophic.
And it seems like this internal tension is causing confusion higher up, too, in management.
Yeah, definitely seems like decision paralysis is setting in. Remember, after Singapore, all that debate about who was at fault in their tangle, rumors Piastri might get qualifying priority. Then in Austin, Piastri has contact again, and initially the team principal points the finger elsewhere before having to walk it back a bit. It's messy.
So what's the approach now?
Well, Andrea Stella, the team principal, is basically saying, let them race. Which sounds fair, but it's incredibly risky. It brings back memories of, 2007, McLaren letting Alonso and Hamilton fight, and Kimi Raikkonen just slips through and takes the title right at the end.
Wow, yeah. History repeating.
Could be. Are they protecting Piastri, who is ahead?
Right.
Or letting them battle it out and potentially lose everything? That confusion, that lack of a clear strategy, it's a weakness Max just doesn't have in his camp.
Okay, quick pause here. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome to DRS Zone. We are right in the middle of this deep dive into the US GP fallout. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our F1 analysis. We really appreciate you joining us. Right, so back to it. It's not just Max versus McLaren, is it? Who else is stirring the pot, maybe acting as a disruptor or even a judge here?
Absolutely. The third parties are becoming crucial. And in Austin, that role was played brilliantly by Ferrari. They managed to slot both cars right between Verstappen and Piastri. That massively increased the points damage for McLaren.
Ferrari as the judge of the race. Interesting.
You could really say that.
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc especially. Bold strategy, starting on the softs. Great racecraft. He made Norris work so hard for that position, forcing him to overtake twice, remember. That final pass, Norris had to really commit, go on to the dirty part of the track. Ferrari maximized their impact.
And this has implications further down, too, in the constructors' battle.
Big time. Suddenly, Red Bull is only 3 points behind Ferrari for P3. Now, obviously, Max is scoring the lion's share, but Yuki Tsunoda chipping in with points again has really fueled that Red Bull charge.
And for Ferrari, dropping to 4th.
That would be seen as a potential drama, as the sources put it. It's only happened 15 times in their entire F1 history. It's a big deal for them.
We should also touch on Piastri's weekend specifically. It seemed unusually quiet for him.
That's a major flag, yeah. He seemed almost disappeared, lacked that usual rhythm compared to Norris all weekend. That's a worry for McLaren, because if Piastri's pace drops off consistently, Lando can't rely on him as a buffer against Max. It puts even more pressure on Norris individually.
Right. And quickly, any word on Mercedes or Hamilton, winners in Singapore? But
yeah, largely invisible in Austin, weren't they? Lewis Hamilton actually set a bit of an unwanted personal record. 19 races now with Ferrari without a podium finish, surpassing Pironi's old record. Mercedes just couldn't get into that lead fight this time around.
Okay, shifting focus slightly, it wasn't just clean racing up front. Penalties, errors, even some defiance down the order.
Oh yeah, plenty of action. Carlos Sainz, first off. He took the blame for that tangle with Antonelli. The stewards called the move optimistic. Basically, the rule is, if you're not clearly ahead at the apex when overtaking on the inside, the responsibility is often yours.
And that optimism cost him.
Big time. A 5-place grid drop for Mexico, plus 2 penalty points on his super license. Which, you keep racking those up, you risk a race ban. It's a real setback for Carlos. He'd been showing some great pace lately.
Ouch. And then Alpine, some internal fireworks there too.
Yeah, that was strange. Gasly was leading Colapinto, but Colapinto was clearly faster on fresher tires, and Bortolito was catching them both rapidly.
Colapinto got a team order.
A direct order, do not overtake Gasly.
But he went for it anyway, right into turn 1.
Total defiance. But, he argued afterwards, and maybe he had a point, that if he didn't pass Gasly quickly, the even faster Bortolito would just swallow them both up. It was an intense battle, aggressive move.
Fans love that kind of spirit. But the team boss?
Maybe not so much. Especially with talk of Colapinto's 2026 renewal potentially being announced soon. He showed speed, definitely, but defying a direct order. That tests the relationship for sure.
One last thing that shaped the race, the tires. Felt a bit processional, strategy-wise.
It did. And that comes down to Pirelli making the hard compound 2 steps harder than usual for Austin. What happened was teams just looked at the medium tire and said, nope, not worth it.
So everyone just defaulted to a one-stop.
Pretty much. Mostly soft to hard. Which honestly makes for less exciting racing. We need those softer compounds, that degradation, to force teams into 2 or even 3 stops. That's when strategy gets really interesting and mixes things up.
Couldn't agree more. So, Mexico next. High altitude, different challenge. F1 never stops, does it? No time to dwell. The big question now is, does this trend just continue? Max's dominance, McLaren's internal wobbles.
It really feels like the momentum is locked in right now. Max isn't just racing McLaren's car anymore. He's almost racing against history, feeding off the pressure, causing others to stumble.
So here's the thought to leave you with. Given Max's current form, his car's performance, and everything we've discussed about McLaren pressure, Piastri's pace dip, the team order's chaos, is it actually possible for Norris or Piastri to regroup now? Or has that internal struggle become Max Verstappen's biggest ally in sealing this championship? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive on DRS Zone. If you like the analysis, please hit subscribe. Follow us wherever you get your audio content. We'll be back with more F1 insights soon.